Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blepnir here with another team review, and today I wanted to go over more of my battles using the Tropius, Golisopod, and Polion team in the Spring Cup. I'm going to show you guys the 5-0 that allowed me to hit Veteran today on stream, and these battles were so fun. This team in general has been incredible to use. So if you guys want to see me use this team and possibly reach leaderboards tomorrow, I'll link in the description down below. But with that being said, let's check out the big 5-0 that got us to Veteran. That is 5 wins and 0 losses this set. And so first off, right off the bat, we see Pelipper in the lead. And Pelipper is not great to see because it core breaks the Tropius Golisopod core, and we can't switch out of the Tropius because Golisopod has an even worse matchup with Pelipper. But we actually switch into Empoleon, which is a very questionable choice. And at this point, this is not looking good at all for us because the Pelipper left with a ton of energy. The Ferrothorn has a very positive matchup with Empoleon. It's dealing neutral damage with these Bullet Seeds. We're dealing resisted damage with our Steel Wings. Their Power Whip has same type attack bonus, whereas our Drill Peck has does not have same type attack bonus. So in general, this is a bad matchup, but they actually throw their move a little early here, which is huge for us because this means that they're not going to reach a Flash Cannon versus my Tropius. We can farm them all the way down with Tropius. They're at they were at a Power Whip. They switch out with a Power Whip, so we have to remember that, right? They have the Power Whip, but very surprisingly, they come into Pelipper, and they switch lock themselves in here. So if I had something that could counter Pelipper, this would be quite good for us. Unfortunately, the Golisopod would struggle against this Pelipper, so we're forced to stay in here. And then they bait us, and that's so bad. We have to hope that this is not another bait. But it is yet another bait, and suddenly this is not looking good for us at all. We're down shields. If they switch into the Pelipper, it means that they have something that is strong against Tropius in the back, and we're thinking that it's probably a Bombasnow. But at least the Golisopod does not have to see the Pelipper, right? So surprisingly, it's surprising that they let the Pelipper go, honestly, because it had so much energy. Especially after baiting us twice, that's a strange play. But they come in with the Abomasnow in the back, and this is not over for us. They're going to try to catch. And if we let them catch, then it's game over. But this Energy Ball doesn't quite take us out. And then they actually take the damage of the Shadow Claw onto their Ferrothorn and go down to the move. So that is a good game, a really close game there. And just showing how this team can get out of situations where you see core breakers or your alignment isn't quite your way. But next up, we see alignment that is very good for us, and then we make a huge mistake. So they led with Quagsire, which is very good for our Tropius. They switch into the Roserade, which Tropius has an okay matchup with. But really, we wanted to switch immediately into the Empoleon instead of the Golisopod. This was a miss swap. So we're gonna correct that in a later battle. But here, we're actually gonna shield because we know that we can get off this next Aerial Ace, and we're trying to play our way out of a cruddy situation. We should have just completely sacked the Empoleon because at the very worst, they could have flipped the matchup with Roserade, but have gone down a shield. And that's fine, because Golisopod has such a good matchup with Quagsire with a shield advantage. Obviously, Quagsire could carry Stone Edge. I'm not sure if Stone Edge is very common in this meta. But yeah, we have to take a Weather Ball here too, so this is not looking good for us. Pretty huge mistakes here. But they have a Tropius in the back, and we have energy. If they had just switched into this Tropius immediately, I think that they would have had more play. But because they are behind on a turn, we are going to just be able to take them out with 2 Aerial Aces. They do not make 2 Aerial Aces here. They might bait. So yeah, they don't bait because they don't bait, and then we don't shield because we know that can live in aerial ace. But this is just a game over at this point, because the Quagsire gets walled so completely by the Tropius that yeah, they top left. And yeah, they really didn't have much of a win con that game. So this team can play its way out of bad alignment, but also can almost always win as long as it has alignment. Ferrothorn is very good for Tropius. The thing is that we're gonna actually have to shield a move because this flash cannon does more than half of our health, and 2 aerial aces do not take them out. So we have to go down shields here. They actually make a really nice catch here onto Golduck. This is actually kind of awful for me. I go into Empoleon, even though I know that Golduck has cross chop, the Golisopod would not have a good time versus Golduck here, honestly. So questionably, we do go into the Golisopod, the Empoleon. So what we're doing here is we're sacking the Empoleon because it has a worse matchup with the Ferrothorn than the Golisopod does. And then they have a Whiscash in the back, and this is the best possible thing I can see in the back. Very unlikely they're running Blizzard. Very unlikely they can even reach a Blizzard because we have residual energy on our Tropius. We have a lot of energy. And then they catch, and this is the best play that they could possibly make. But honestly, you're going to see here that all this does is put them into range where an X-Scissor can take them out. So yeah, good play on them by catching. But realistically, we would not threaten to take them out here with an X-Scissor without that chip damage. So questionably, really makes no difference, honestly. The matchups are still the same. They're forced to shield here, which is quite nice for us. Whereas if we didn't chip them with the Leaf Blade first, they wouldn't have to shield. And we let this go because they have no more fast move pressure versus us. The dumbest thing we could do there is shield, because we know that we can always just one shield here and farm all the way down. They're actually going to be taken out by this air slash. So they just get off one flash cannon. They can't bait or anything. And that's just game over for them because we have so much energy. We do have to shield up this Scald here, just because it might be a Blizzard, and if they throw the Blizzard and we shield, they wouldn't make another Blizzard. They get the attack debuff, but that's completely fine, because you're going to see here that even debuffed, this Leaf Blade is more than enough to take out the Shadow Whiscash, and this is why Tropius is so fun. I don't know why we've been seeing so many Mud Boys recently. Honestly, I guess it's because of all the poison types in the meta, but Mud Boys are ranked pretty low on PvPoke for a reason, and it's just because there's so many grass types in this meta. But that is a good game. We see another Ferrothorn in the lead next match. It makes sense because Ferrothorn defeats Empoleon, and Empoleon is another very common lead that we see. But we're going to play this out in a similar way, and let's see if this person makes another excellent catch on us. So we just go for the aerial ace again. We didn't learn our lesson last time, apparently, about waiting a turn. But thankfully, this guy doesn't catch on us. So we are going to... we actually no-shield this, I think, because we recognize that we can Shadow Claw them down. And so in general, I think that it's a valid play to sacrifice a Pokemon as long as you know that the farm that you get on the Pokemon you come into is valuable. And Golisopod is a type of Pokemon that isn't really walled by anything, and you know that this energy is going to go to use somewhere. And they have a Tropius, and they have a Roserade in the back, so if they had a Poliwrath in the back, which they definitely could have had, then this would have been just game over. But thankfully, with Roserade in the back, this will guarantee that we get the win, because we can double shield here, and even if they bait, they don't get to 3 Weather Balls. So very safe farm down for us. And this energy is just going to spell disaster for the Tropius coming back in. There's nothing that they can do here. We throw one drill peck, and you're going to see this drill peck does a lot more damage than the aerial ace, being a slightly stronger move. And another drill peck, and then we can just stay in here and tank a move. They have to throw a leaf blade at some point to take us out, but yeah, at this point it's completely over because aerial ace wouldn't even take out a Golisopod at that range. Here we have a battle versus a friend of ours, the Sun account of the very famous Lyle Jeffs, who's another great streamer who I will link down below to his Twitch stream. But here we see a very spicy pick, Kingdra in the lead. We haven't seen any Kingdras, but they are going to get to the outrage here. We actually no shield the outrage, recognizing that we can live it, and we have a leaf blade stored. We go into the Golisopod, and then they're a little late to swap out here into the Empoleon. And Lyle was telling me later, like, he's pissed off that a steel type takes so much damage from X Scissors, and is very true. This is the reason why Golisopod is so powerful in the safe swap, is because it even resisted X Scissor is enough to two-shot an Empoleon. And so we will be able to win this matchup if we want to in the two shields. And we actually beat them to the move here, so they have to shield here. And then I think that what we're going to do is we're going to switch into our own Empoleon. And they will get to another move here, but this will not quite this will not do enough damage. They go back into their Kingdra, but their Kingdra would just get farmed down. I think that they had, I'm not going to say what they had in back because Lyle still might be using that team, but I just want to include that just to show how powerful Golisopod is as a safe swap, defeating stuff that you might not expect it to defeat. And so here we have a redo of the Quagsire Roserade core that we saw in the beginning of the episode. And we're going to play it out the correct way this time. We want to go into Empoleon versus Roserade. We want to no shield. Even if they full send a Leaf Storm, that's okay. But they throw a Grass Knot, and we actually can tank that Grass Knot, which is amazing for us because that means we get two shields or we get switch and a shield advantage. And they do have to shield, because otherwise they would be down shields and they would lose alignment. But the thing is that energy on Tropius always goes somewhere, right? Nothing can wall Tropius's moveset in the meta right now. So no matter what, we're going to be hitting something for a lot of damage, and it's a Pelipper. And this is fantastic. This is why you use Tropius, is because even though Pelipper is kind of one of the hardest counters to Tropius in the meta, with a shield advantage, we just win this. We actually will store the move because we know that they have Quagsire in the lead, and we know that Tropius can easily dispatch the Quagsire. We're not even within Stone Edge range there. So even if they got to a Stone Edge on Quagsire somehow, we would have won that match. And there you go, folks. This is a team that wins when it doesn't have alignment, wins when it has alignment. It got me from the 2200s all the way up to the current elo of 2510. But we're going to keep going. I am going to make a serious push for the leaderboards tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will include a link to my stream down below. So I hope to see y'all there. This is a very fun team. Let me know if you've tried the team in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all next time.